Today, we're going to improve your golf swing. But here's the catch. You're not going to catch a single club. We're diving deep into the powerful and honestly often overlooked connection between your body's physical shape and how you actually perform out on the course.
You know the feeling, right? It is one of the most frustrating things in golf. You spend hours and hours at the range. You watch every tutorial video out there, but your swing just hits a wall. It feels like you're just not making any real progress. So what's really holding you back? All right, let's get right to the core idea, because honestly, this is a game changer. The root of your swing problems, it probably isn't your technique or your fancy new driver. No, it's way more likely the result of your modern life. You know, all those hours you spend sitting down, driving, or hunched over a computer. Here's the best way to think about it. Your body is the engine that powers your golf swing. Your club, that's just the tool. Now, if the engine has a problem, it doesn't matter how shiny the car is, it's just not going to perform. Most swing faults are just symptoms of an engine, your body, that has some kind of physical limitation. So let's take a closer look at how our day-to-day routines create these, let's call them glitches, in our performance. We're talking about subtle physical imbalances that have a huge impact on your ability to swing a golf club the right way, efficiently and with power. I mean, think about that constant forward-leaning posture. What it's doing is shortening and tightening up the muscles on the front of your body, like your chest and your hip flexors, while at the same time, it's lengthening and weakening the muscles on your back, like your glutes and your upper back. This creates this state of imbalance that your body just gets used to, and, well, that is terrible news for your golf swing.
Okay, this slide breaks it down perfectly. We've got two main culprits. Over on the left, you see upper cross syndrome. Just think of it as desk worker posture. Your chest gets tight and it pulls your shoulders forward. Then on the right, you've got lower cross syndrome. That's when tight hip flexors cause an arched lower back and basically shut down your powerful glute muscles. Sound familiar?
So let's really look at the damage here. Upper cross syndrome, it gives you those rounded shoulders, right? Which physically blocks you from making a full, powerful backswing. Your body just can't rotate properly. So what do you do to compensate? Your arms lift up, and that leads to that dreaded over-the-top move that, you guessed it, causes a slice. And here is the other half of the problem. Lower crossed syndrome, it tilts your pelvis forward, which creates a really unstable lower back. This makes it almost impossible to shift your weight correctly onto your lead side during the downswing, and the result? You get stuck on your back foot, a classic flaw pros call hanging back, and it just sucks all the power right out of your swing. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's get practical and see how this all connects. You can actually test your own body for these limitations, like right now, wherever you are. This is all about finding out what's really going on with your engine.
And listen, these aren't just some random stretches. These are simplified versions of the exact same physical screens that top golf coaches and trainers use to check out their players. They're designed to quickly show you where your body's restricted.
All right, here are 3 quick ones you can try. First up, the pelvic tilt. Can you tuck your tailbone under and then arch your back, all while keeping your chest still? If that's a struggle, your lower body is locked up. Next, torso rotation. Cross your arms over your chest and just turn your shoulders as far as you can without letting your hips move. If you can't go far, well, that means a limited backswing. And finally, the big one. This is the single best movement to assess your overall mobility and your readiness for an athletic, powerful golf swing. You ready for this?
It's the deep squat. Go on, try it. Feet about shoulder width apart. Arms straight up over your head. Now, can you lower your hips so they're below your knees without your heels lifting up, your arms falling forward, or your back rounding out too much? If you can't, this one single test reveals limitations in your hips, your ankles, and your thoracic spine, all of which are absolutely critical for a good golf swing. So, what if you failed those tests? Hey, don't worry about it. The great news is you can totally fix it. We're now going to look at a simple, really powerful framework for rewiring your body's movement patterns and unlocking that swing you know you're capable of. It all comes down to a simple framework called the 3 I's. It's a really logical progression to basically rewire your nervous system so it fires the right muscles in the right sequence. Isolate, incorporate, and increase. Let's break that down. So that first step, isolate, is absolutely crucial. Because of those daily habits, your brain has literally forgotten how to turn on certain muscles, like your glutes or your upper back. So isolation exercises, they're designed to wake those muscles up and reestablish that mind-muscle connection.
So for that upper cross syndrome, that desk worker posture we talked about, the goal is to fight back against that tight chest.
You need to isolate and turn on the muscles in your upper back that are responsible for pulling your shoulders back into a powerful, athletic position. And a perfect example of this is the dumbbell row. When you do it correctly, this exercise directly targets those weak rhomboid and trapezius muscles. Strengthening them actively fights back against that forward shoulder slump, it opens up your chest, and it gives you the room you need to make a full turn.
All right, so what about the lower cross syndrome? To stop that big arch in your lower back and get your pelvis back to a neutral position, you have to wake up and strengthen your deep core muscles. We're talking especially about your abs.
And you know what? There is no better exercise for this than the good old plank. It teaches your body to create stability right through your midsection, supporting your spine and allowing your hips to rotate freely and powerfully, instead of tilting out of position. A strong core is the foundation of a stable golf swing.
And at the end of the day, this is the goal. All these exercises, they aren't just about getting stronger. They are about reteaching your body to work as a single connected unit. The goal is to create a sequence, a flow, that produces that feeling of effortless power that we're all chasing.
So this right here is probably the most important takeaway from this whole thing. You have to stop thinking of fitness and golf practice as two separate things. Working on your body's mobility and stability is practicing your golf swing. You are fixing the engine, which will finally allow the technical changes you want to make to actually stick.
So let me leave you with this thought. You don't need to suddenly start living in the gym. Based on everything you've just seen, what is one small thing, maybe a quick stretch at your desk, a plank before bed, what one daily habit could you start today that would begin to unlock a better, more powerful swing tomorrow?